presidenta en 75 años para la Unión de los Janitors in San Francisco. I'm the first Chicana president, union president in 75 years of the union's history in San Francisco. I'm also a proud Angelinan, and when I met Cesar 16, 17 years ago, we were organizing walkouts in our high schools, Belmont High School. I want to be able to introduce to you two very strong and very proud women of our union, and also not just any city council president, but our city council president, who's also one of the best labor attorneys in the Bay Area and represents janitors in San Francisco. Can I please ask you to please give a big round of applause to Esperanza Ruelas, Patricia Hernandez, Juan Avila, Evelyn Almusi, Jane Bruner. I want to be able to just tell all of you guys how honored I am to be able to share being in front of all of you, very humbly standing. I'm so proud today that I hope years from now, 10, 15 years from now, my son can remember today and understand that what you guys are doing, I hope to see 15 years from now, some of you guys being assembly members, city council presidents, mayors, presidents of the United States. Now that's not unattainable. But I'm very proud to be standing here and to have been able to have marched, and our janitors have joined, and our small contribution to have supported your march. I want to be able to hand over the microphone to Esperanza Ruelas, who's been a janitor for over 22 years in San Francisco. Everybody, if you can please give her a round of applause.
Mire, cuando yo llegué a este país, llegué en el 80. Soy janitor desde 1986 y yo creí que cuando yo llegué a este país era un país con leyes justas, pero al mirar ahorita los problemas que han pasado en Arizona, digo, son leyes que en realidad son inventadas. ¿Por cuál razón? Mientras mis compañeros están siendo afectados, no solo el hecho de mis compañeros, todos los que estamos aquí presentes y no presentes. Es una tristeza al mirar que no solo por ser hispanos, sino hay de diferentes países, el cual a todos somos afectados. Todos pagamos nuestros impuestos. Hay parejas en mi trabajo que son esposo y esposa y el cual están teniendo problemas. Me da una alegría al mirar, yo soy de aquí de Oakland, al mirar todos los muchachos que con qué ganas, con qué coraje han llegado a formar esta marcha, el cual por una lucha que todos deseamos y todos queremos salir adelante, que no quisiéramos que fuera una verdad y el cual es una verdad. Queremos que solo digamos, no es verdad, pero a la misma vez es una realidad. Muchas gracias.
I want to be able to now introduce to all of you very proudly Jane Bruner, President of the City Council of the City of Oakland.
I am so happy to be here today. All of you being here and showing your support is critical. We are proud to have joined San Francisco yesterday. Ignacio de la Fuente, Jean Kwan, and myself have put in an urgency resolution in the city of Oakland saying we are going to boycott Arizona. Until they repeal that law. There is no way that they can tell who is legal and illegal. There's no criteria, there's no definition. So what does it mean? Does it mean you're standing on a corner waiting to go to work? You're taking your child to school? Is that you're near the border? They need to make sure that law never gets enacted, and your demonstrations are a way to stop it. Both Jean and I came out of the student movement back in the 60s. We were in demonstrations like this. They told us it didn't matter, and what did we learn? We learned that every demonstration makes a difference, and we can change the world. And it doesn't matter that we're not in Arizona. because our money, I love Arizona. I go visit a lot. I will not visit Arizona again until that law is repealed. We are calling on cities throughout the country to join San Francisco and Oakland and continue this movement across the country to boycott Arizona and to encourage Obama's administration to make good legislation. Thank you.
I think it's important to also recognize that these elected officials for the city of Oakland, for San Francisco, they don't just come out when the cameras are on. These officials, these legislators have come on when things have gotten rough. In March, 1,000 of my janitors received letters for an I-9 audit. These are the new versions of raids. Rather than having I show up at the job, they're now doing it through desktop raids. 475 of my janitors are being affected by these desktop raids. Jean Kwan, Jane Bruner, Mayor Gavin Newsom from San Francisco, the Board of Supervisors passed a resolution condemning these ICE audits. Now I ask you to please give a big round of applause to leaders like Jean Kwan, Vice Mayor for the City of Oakland. Thank you.
This is a special honor because I don't think they know it, but I was the first woman business agent for Local 87 a long time ago. So I used to represent janitors in San Francisco. Let me just say a couple things. This is the day of the kid, of children and of youth in Mexico, and this is the day of youth in Oakland. So let me see. Some of you are from Fremont High. Where are you? Some of you are from Castlemont. Some of you are from Thomas Academy, I think. Yes? No? Where else are you from? Skyline? Okay. Jane talked about our youth, so let me digress just for a minute ago. About 40 years ago, I was about your age. I was a freshman at Berkeley, and probably all the students, and you were more than all the students at UC Berkeley who at that time declared a third world strike. And the reason we declared that strike was because we weren't in the university books. We weren't in the history. And why is that important? Because in California, if we don't know our history, we don't know that wave after wave after wave of immigrants built the wealth of this state. And as soon as they built the wealth, they were excluded. So, I'm going to tell you a little short Asian American history since we're talking about history today. In 1882, they decided there were too many Chinese here, and they decided to exclude Chinese. And then, even though we built the levees that you see from Sacramento for the agricultural, even though we built the railroads, even though we built the cellars of the wineries, and even though we built a big part of Oakland, that we couldn't become citizens, we couldn't own land, and our families could not be united. So in 1906, there was a San Francisco earthquake, right? My great-grandfather, carrying just what he had on his back, and his 3 sons came over here, but he declared that his sons were born in the U.S., and so from that point on, most of our families have been here in the United States illegally, right? Because we basically said children of citizens are citizens, and so many Chinese Americans, too, were here illegally because the law was unjust. That even though they wanted us to build the cities and build the factories in the fields, that we couldn't have the same human rights as other people. So that's why we need to know California history. Because today there are not a lot of Asians here, but I'll tell you that the census and the other statistics show that probably 1 out of 10 Asians is also undocumented. So today, it's you, tomorrow it could be me and my family, and who's next? So that's why we're here today to stand with you. So are we going to stop this? Are we going to let them divide us one group against another? The other reason why we should honor and celebrate you today is because there are 2 important fights going on. There's still the fight, the
Obama administration says it's going to try to get an immigration act, we'll see, but there is the DREAM Act, and the DREAM Act speaks to you, because it says for you who have been raised in this country that you should have a right to go to school and not to be locked out of scholarships and not to be locked out of the colleges and universities. And we need to support that DREAM Act, because do you think that we can stop crime in Oakland if you don't have a chance for an education? Do you think we can attract top companies to come and work in Oakland if you don't have a chance to have a good education? So we need to learn from that. And then lastly, I need to say we're going to vote on this act to boycott Arizona Tuesday. We invite you to join us, but we're also going to implement, we hope, over the summer, the Oakland Muni ID, so that your parents, and you're here, I know today, mostly for your parents as well as yourself, so that your parents and other people around the